Many of you know me, well, you know Debbie and me from our documentaries, our political documentaries. But last year we were executive producers on a feature film, Infidel. And we have the writer and director of that movie, Cyrus Nowrasteh, joining the podcast because the three of us have some pretty exciting news to share with you. Listen.
Cyrus, you've made Infidel, and guess what? We are giving it the Faith and Freedom Award for the Movieguide Awards.
Well, thank you so much. I'm thrilled. I really am. I can't thank Movieguide enough for recognizing Infidel because it is an edgy movie. But this movie is firmly planted in sort of the reality of a man being kidnapped and taken to a prison in the Middle East. I also want to thank, and this is important, I want to thank Dinesh D'Souza and Debbie D'Souza, who sort of committed themselves now from the world of documentary to dramatic films and giving me the opportunity to be the first one to sort of run with that ball with them. And they've been fantastic.
And I want to say, we really appreciate the themes of faith and freedom in the movie. So thank you so much for coming in.
Well, thanks, Evie, and thanks to Movieguide.
Yay. So this is great news, Cyrus. And of course, we are sharing this excitement with you. And quite honestly, I did not expect us to win this award. Can you say a word about who is giving the award and what it's for? And also why we probably were a little surprised to be notified that we were going to get the best movie choice.
Well, this award was given to us by Movieguide. And Movieguide.org is an organization that's been around for many years, focused on family and faith-driven movies. So they decided to honor this year for the Faith and Freedom Award an R-rated movie. That's very unusual. Infidel, as you very well know, is an edgy thriller. So it was kind of surprising that they, decided to honor us with this, and I'm thrilled.
When I read the review of the movie when it first came out, it was a positive review. But down at the bottom, they have certain kind of markers, like extreme violence and in some cases salty language. And all of this is an Infidel. And to quote Caviezel, when the star of the movie, when Jim Caviezel went on Shannon Bream, I think he goes, well, this is no candy-ass Christian movie. And I think Shannon Bream was like, ugh. But it conveyed some of the edginess of the movie. That all being said, I think the Faith and the Movieguide guys seem to have seen that you have to be in the culture these days, and it's a gritty culture. So you have to make gritty films that live and swim in public space, that treat the world as it is, and that in some ways that is better than making a kind of anodyne niche movie that is only aimed at a very limited segment of the movie-going audience.
No, absolutely. And look, we're depicting a Christian who is kidnapped and imprisoned in Iran. And we know from, the many stories and horror stories that we've heard what that's like and what that's about. And we depicted it honestly. And I think Movieguide recognized that.
Absolutely. So, Cyrus, we chat about how providential this movie was and how it was made. And some people don't know what role we played and all of that. But one of the things that, to begin with, that began the providential aspect of the movie was, on our trip to India. We were thinking of a movie that would have absolutely what you just said about the depiction of someone in Iran getting put in prison and knowing that no Hollywood director would ever want to direct it. So when I told Dinesh, I said, well, I think there's a guy that just might. And there's a movie called The Stoning of Sariah M. that I want you to see. So Dinesh was like, okay, sure, yeah. And so we saw the movie, and Dinesh was like, I know that guy. I know Cyrus. Boom, right then and there.
Well, Cyrus, I didn't know the quality of work that you were capable of. I feel bad saying that now because I'm very familiar with your work. The Path to 9/11, which you made in the 90s, which was made for a mainstream TV network, as I understand, but was somewhat suppressed by the Clintons. I don't know. Say a word about that, and then I want to say...
It was actually broadcast 2006 on the 5th anniversary of 9/11. And The Path to 9/11 basically depicts from the first attack on the World Trade Center to 9/11, sort of the opportunities missed, the mistakes made that led to that horrible, attack. And we also, of course, depicted the numerous opportunities, especially that President Clinton had, to sort of get Osama bin Laden pre-9/11. And when you watch that in a miniseries, and it's dramatized contextually within the drama, the building drama of that story, it's pretty agonizing. And it was clear that the Clinton people were very upset about it. And they set about doing everything they could to stop The Path to 9/11 from airing in 2006. And that sort of, got a lot of attention placed upon me. And, fortunately, it did air. They did cut 3 minutes out of it, but it aired only once. It was number 2 in the ratings the first night, number 1 in the ratings the second night. It was a 2-night miniseries. It has never been rebroadcast. It has never been released on DVD. And it was effectively buried successfully by the Clintons.
It's almost a chilling preview of the stuff that we're seeing today, but it happened early on. And let's talk for a moment about Soraya M., because I remember being very riveted by that movie when I saw it. Now, in fairness, I thought this movie has a horrible title, because if you say The Stoning of Soraya M., it's going to make a lot of people who are going out on a date on a Saturday night to go, do I really want to see a woman stoned, for a whole movie? It's going to be excruciating. But that all being said, you put it out there, you didn't hold back. This is a story that takes you into a small village in Iran where a woman is falsely accused of adultery. And I just felt at the end of the movie, like, I know these characters. They're so familiar to me. And you just unfurl that story with this kind of clinical detachment and yet enormous sympathy. It was a very powerful movie. It convinced me that you were the perfect guy to take on Infidel. And of course, you delivered. There's also a providential aspect.
Yes.
Well, let's do this when we come back. I want to talk about the providential aspect of Jim Caviezel, this big star, the Count and the Count of Monte Cristo, Jesus and the Passion of the Christ. How do we get Jim Caviezel to play the lead in this movie?